Joining us now is Agco's Chairman and CEO, Martin Richenhagen. Martin, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Markets are reacting as if the world has changed overnight. How has your view of the global economy, of your product, farm equipment, of your clients, and demand for your product changed in the last couple of weeks?
Well, in rough seas, you always need some rocks. Agco is one of those rocks. We are doing very well. We are facing a record year, 2011, and therefore I'm not that concerned for this year. What we need from politicians is consistency, and what we need from the U.S. government is a tax reform soon.
And what have you heard so far from the U.S. government that gives you reason to be optimistic, if any?
I'm not very optimistic about the government, but I'm more optimistic about business. I'm just coming from a meeting of the Business Roundtable in Washington, and I talked to some of my colleagues, and I think operational business companies are doing much better than what you can read in the media. Wall Street is nervous, I can understand that, but I think we have some very good performing companies, and our industry is certainly an exception. Farming is facing a pretty good future.
Right, especially with prices for corn, soybeans, and wheat remaining fairly elevated.
Yeah.
Do you see the food prices staying at these levels even as people are ratcheting down their expectations for growth, not just here in the U.S., but Europe, your biggest market, and Asia?
Exactly. I think commodity prices are driven by demand, so that means demand is much higher than supply, and they stay high. That means farm income will be good, and farmers will invest. So that's the logics we'll follow. So we think that also next year will be pretty good for us.
But at the same time, you need to invest more overseas where growth is stronger, say in Asia or Latin America, than here in the U.S. I know your rival Deere is making a big effort to gain market share in those overseas markets. Are you afraid of losing some momentum to that company? No.
John Deere is a pretty good company, but we are also maybe even better. I think we have better products. We have high quality. We are somewhat the Rolls-Royce of the industry, high technologies for professional farmers, and we invest. So I'm just coming back from China, where we did do the groundbreaking ceremony for a big tractor factory. We took over, we bought a Chinese combine business, one of the major players, and we also opened a factory for high horsepower tractors. So I think we have no problem to compete with some of our competitors, but we are also only 3 in the market, so therefore it's not that difficult. The market has consolidated pretty much, and I think there's space enough for all of us.
Will there be more prospect of consolidation in that market?
I don't think so. Because of legal restrictions, I think we are all too big to consolidate further.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt for a second. We just have some breaking headlines from All Things Digital, which is a website run by the Wall Street Journal. And what we're hearing is that, let me pull this up, Meg Whitman, the former CEO of eBay and also one of the board members of Hewlett-Packard, is expected to take on the CEO role over at Hewlett-Packard. Once again, Whitman to be named CEO of Hewlett-Packard after the market today. This is according to All Things D. They are holding a board meeting right now. Sorry, I did want to get back to our conversation.
Well, I'm very sorry because this is also a German, and I'm a German, so I don't like to see him go.
That's right, Leo Apotheker, who you're referring to.
Yes, exactly. We're only 3 in the U.S. Kleinfeld from Alcoa. And I was the first. I'm here already 8 years now, so
paving the way.
Yes, exactly.
Very quickly, you mentioned how you're not very confident in Washington to set things right. What do you want to hear from the government, from regulators, from the central bank to restore confidence for businesses?
Well, as I said, consistency. We need to have a kind of vision and a strategy which is implemented, and people who trust in the government again. And I think that's the government lacks leadership. And I think this is the main problem of Obama. He's just sitting there waiting and watching, and that's, I think, completely wrong. If I would do the same, I think I would lose my job very, very quickly. What I also am concerned about, this is a big operation. America is one of the biggest countries in the world, and they run the country without a budget for 2 years now. How is this possible?
Many people
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So that means we need a budget, we need a tax reform, and we need a strategy, and then people need to think about more business in order to attract investments in America again.
All right, thank you for giving us your prescription for what government can do to restore confidence in businesses.